local law enforcement that we're very committed to this. This is an obligation all of us in leadership have every single day, and that's to wake up and find ways that we can make our community safer, and that's exactly what we are.
I'm Jessica Dupnack in Bloomfield Township. Police here say that a man was living with his wife's decomposing corpse for 2 months, and now he's been charged.
She was living her best life at Belle Isle. Now she's at the Great Lakes Serpentarium swimming around. I'm Lauren Edwards in Westland. Coming up, get a closer look at her.
Working for you. Fox 2 News at 10 starts now.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Rupert.
And I'm Taryn Asher. A Metro Detroit man held on bond after allegedly living with his wife's corpse. It's believed she had been dead for 2 months.
As you can imagine, so many questions. Was she murdered? Fox 2's Jessica Dupnack is live tonight in Bloomfield Township with the very latest. Jessica, this is just a morbid story.
Yeah, absolutely. And police are trying to figure out the cause of death. We're talking about 53-year-old Dirk Grunwald from Bloomfield Township. He was charged today with failing to report a deceased person, and police say that deceased person is his own wife. Now, he hasn't been charged with anything more severe. It is a felony, and he's being held on a big bond, $250,000, no 10%. Now, this all started when a concerned neighbor called police last weekend after the couple seemed to disappear. When police got inside, they say Grunwald was holed up in their master bedroom surrounded by knives. The Oakland County Sheriff's Office had to send in their SWAT team. He eventually surrendered, but never said a word to police this whole time. Investigators think the wife, 57-year-old Arian, had to be dead on the main level for at least 2 months.
Is this a homicide? Is this not a homicide? Those are some things that we have to wait for the medical examiner. That'll determine whether or not, through our interviews with friends and family, and kind of in a situation like this, we have to dig back to try to uncover everything that went ahead. And the husband didn't say a word to us the day at the residence. So those types of things are things that are red flags.
Now, the husband, Dirk Grunwald, he was sent immediately for both mental and physical evaluation. He is still in the hospital at this hour. Typically, after charges, we would show you a mugshot, but he hasn't been booked into jail, so we don't have that quite yet. Now, the chief says they're working very closely with the medical examiner here in Oakland County, but it could be weeks, if not months, before there's a cause of death. And until then, no additional charges. Reporting live in Bloomfield Township, Jessica Dupnack, Fox 2 News.
And no charges, but do investigators at this point think that he's the one that killed her, or did she die of natural causes potentially? I mean, certainly there is a mental illness component to this.
Sure, absolutely. The point of decomposition was very advanced, and not to be too gruesome, it makes it incredibly difficult for investigators. They're actually going to bring in anthropologists, and again, that could take some time. So they're calling it suspicious, but as a reminder, all deaths are considered suspicious until it can be ruled out.
That's true. All right, Jessica, we'll have to wait and see on this one. Thanks.
Well, a fistfight ends in gunfire in downtown Detroit. It happened 2:30 this afternoon at the Rosa Parks Transit Center. Officers who were stationed there saw people fighting, and they rushed over. Someone opened fire, people scattered, and one man was hurt. Police say they've arrested the suspected shooter and an accomplice.
The video we've gone through so far, this act occurred very quickly. These two groups came together, almost immediately starting to fight. So it appears, based on what we've seen so far, they may have known each other. There might have been something that occurred before, but this wasn't something that was going on for a long period of time in the Rosa Parks Transit Center.
The man who was shot was hit in the foot and is expected to be all right.
First responders speaking publicly for the first time since Sunday's mass shooting in Grand Blanc. They spoke today at Henry Ford Genesis Hospital, where several victims were treated right after the attack at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Patients ranged in age from 6 to 78 years old, and doctors said despite extraordinary efforts to save one gunshot victim, that person did not survive.
Being the trauma surgeon on call and all of us hoping that everyone lives, it's hard. I think it's really hard to have somebody that is traumatically injured or for any reason die. I think unfortunately we probably have a sense that we're supposed to be able to save everybody, but we can't.
A total of 8 patients were admitted after the church attack. 3 remain in the hospital right now and are in stable condition.
Well, emotional testimony today in the case of 2 men accused of posing as DTE workers charged with killing a man in his Rochester Hills home. Today, the victim's wife took the stand recounting what happened in October of last year. Prosecutors say Carlos Hernandez and Joshua Zuzayo convinced Hussein Murray to let them in the house, saying there was a gas leak. The victim's wife testified that the man had been in the basement and had asked her husband about money.
Were you still talking to defendant Hernandez about your money and your cash and your husband's cash at the time Zuazo appeared, or was that part of the conversation over?
That was over, and I asked him where's my husband several times.
What happens when you're asking about your husband?
Zuazo tells me that he's sleeping, and I know there's blood on his vest, and I start screaming.
Linda Murray says when she screamed, one of the men hit her in the face. She says they tied her up and stole jewelry and cash from the house. Eventually, she says she was able to free herself and call police.
All right, it's time to talk about our weather, and it really seems like we haven't had much to talk about lately because it's just been sunny and hot and nice.
This is what meteorologists in Florida outside of hurricane season deal with all the time. Sunny and beautiful, right?
We're on a roll. I mean, that's it. We're on a roll, and it continues into the weekend. We do have some high cloudiness out there, but high pressure is still holding on over the eastern Great Lakes. So despite the clouds, our weather stays quiet right into the weekend. Here are the daytime highs today. 71 for us, 78 in Kalamazoo. Notice somewhat cooler numbers up around Escanaba and Alpena. Here are the current readings. 62 for us, 52 in Port Huron. There's 55 in Lansing. Live pictures right here in Southfield showing it's all quiet across Metro Detroit. We'll get down to 52 on average. There could be a few spots that dip into the upper 40s, and then the weekend features sunshine and warmer temperatures. Finally, a chance for rain next Tuesday. We'll show you all of that in the 7-day forecast coming up in 20. Root Taryn, back to you.
Thanks so much, Rich. It's see you later, alligator, for the newest resident in Belle Isle.
The gator's been captured and now has a new home in Westland. Fox 2's Lauren Edwards joins us live from Westland after checking out the reptile's new digs. And look, we came full circle with this. We were wondering where the poor guy came from, where he was heading. Now we know.
Absolutely, as I'm standing in front of Great Lakes Serpentarium, and I want to show you, just give you a bit of a tour of what it looks like. So right here is an enclosure where one crocodile is. He's got his head sticking out of the water there. But then I'm coming over. There are 2 crocodiles over here, one all the way in the corner, one right here with its mouth open. And we just wanted you just to get an up-close look. It looks like a statue, but I promise you, it's real. We met this crocodile earlier, but take a look at the video that has been making the rounds on social media. It definitely went viral. Now, this is cell phone video you're looking at from a woman that was paddle boating at Belle Isle on Sunday. As we've all seen this video, and the DNR checked it out and said, yep, it's an American alligator. So after that, the hunt was on. People showing up to Belle Isle to try to capture it or to take pictures of it or to look at it. Then today around noon, she was picked up by 2 guys, Stephen Hart and Troy Katarian. Hart says it took him 4 hours, but he saw the alligator swimming along the coastline. She ducked under some trees. He followed her and built kind of a rock wall to kind of just stop her from going any further or to like corner her. And Katarian then popped out, and both were able to put her into a net. Then around 6 p.m., she was dropped off here at the Great Lakes Serpentarium in Westland. And what is so special about this story is that these 2 guys did not know each other at all. They met today as they were catching her, and they call it divine timing.
It's going to be much better off. I think it's
yesterday it all lined up where I felt like time was pressing. Pulled over to a couple spots and then just asked a lady if she had seen the alligator, and she gave me the exact coordinates to it. And then this morning I hit something, my tire blew up, I had to change into a spare, and everything lined up for it seemed like an inconvenience, but I met him right at the gator, and we caught her. So,
and I was checking out the outer banks of the island momentarily before I came over to where he was, and if it wasn't for that, I would have missed him.
So, you know, I keep getting a ton of questions like, did she have an official name or not? The gentleman who picked her up, they had called her Fafnir after a fantasy dragon. I called her Chance the Snapper. But you know what? If you want to come check this place out, Great Lakes Serpentarium, they have a grand opening. It's going to kick off on Halloween, October 31st at 1 o'clock. There's going to be a DJ, fanfare, and tours, guys, because it's kind of like a reptile zoo in there. We got a tour earlier. On the inside, they have 100 reptiles, so definitely really cool, and especially if you want to see her, she will be there. Reporting live here in Westland, Lauren Edwards, Fox 2 News.
They got to come up with a name for this guy. They should have a contest.
They should, and I like Chance the Snapper. I think that works well for her, you know? She's in Detroit, it's a lot of hip-hop. Chance the Snapper works very well.
It does.
I'm really glad that they finally found her at a time that they did, because if the water got cooler out there, that's the one thing they couldn't survive. They got food down there, but if the water got cold, it would have been a much different story. So good ending here, Lauren Edwards.
Absolutely a good ending.
Thanks for that live report.
The alligator was a lot bigger.
Yeah, I know. It looked pretty tiny.
All right. Well, Detroit City Council candidates going head-to-head tonight at Eastern Market. One of the hot topics, a proposed 24% tax on cannabis. Why critics say it could crush local businesses. Next.
Michigan's government won't be shutting down, at least not yet. State lawmakers voting to extend funding for one more week while they hammer out a final budget deal. Fox 2 political insider Tim Skubic joins us from Lansing with what comes next. The news at 10 is just getting started.